Call to order, roll call please, Joy.
Linda Duncan.
Here.
Tony Bird. Gary Maurer.
Here.
Rob Metzger.
Here.
And Tara Wayne.
All right, thank you, Joy. Agenda approval, any additions, changes, or corrections, Mr. Burnett?
No.
All right.
Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's go to the minutes approval. We'll do the January 9th regular meeting first, please.
Move to approve the January 9th regular board meeting.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And lastly, the January 23rd work session.
Move to approve the work session minutes of January 23rd.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, public forum.
Mrs. Austin has brought some of our best and brightest from Woodland Elementary to give us an update, and Mrs. Flint. To talk about number talks, so, you know,
Sure.
Go
So as a result of some of our data and testing, we decided we needed to move our PD focus into math. That's when we did a lot of summer work with mathematics, and of course our teachers all took part in this course. We kind of attacking in two different modes. One is with our PD. We're reviewing the summer work and continuing that. And the second thing is we made some changes to our instruction. And one of the most obvious and universal is what we're going to call number talks. So every classroom, every day, the expectation is that they do a number talk. And it is not necessarily related to what they're studying or what their task is for the day or their lesson is for the day. So with that, we have, these are our model teachers, Robert Eiselstein, Rachel Sawyer, Rachel Bonestock, Pammy Place, and Melanie Drake. So they're here today to put you through, to talk a little bit about number talks, as well as allow you to experience more. And then we'll see Mel talking. Yeah.
meet standard.
So with that,
So kids, here's a
Excitement.
question for you to start things out. Quick raising of the hand. How many of you are fearful of math or just don't like doing math or have negative memories of math? Yeah, are you kidding me? That's me. 2/3 of our nation feel like you and me, so that's a good thing, I guess. I don't know. The downside of it is that I think we all, some of us are same age, some of us are not, we all learn math through memorization and rules. And we don't know why we do what we do. We just have to line it up, right? Get your decimals in the right spot. So that's to me, that's the biggest shift in math, is that now we're understanding, we're getting a sense of math, a relationship with math and numbers. And that is the gist of number talks. So Mrs. Drake, take it away.
All right, so we're gonna do the number talk that we did this morning with my second graders, and then you're gonna watch what our second graders did, but you guys are gonna be second grade and do your best here. All right, so here's our number talk today. No, that's not it.
yes.
Started great. All right, so I'm gonna give you just a couple seconds here to think about this on your own, and if you wanna do this, this is what our second graders do, is think mode. So go ahead and show me your fist, you're in think mode right now. So take some time, think about what you think that answer is. And then if you've got a strategy, you figured out, how you got one way of figuring out how to do it, then hold it with one. But maybe you can think of another way to get to the right answer, then you can show me with the two. Okay, so think that over. And then what we like to do is we share. So you guys can partner up. Girls, you can partner up. Talk about how did you get to your answer. All right, I'll take it by volunteer. Who would like to share how they got to their answer? Rob, okay, go ahead. If you want to.
I will, yeah, volunteer and Linda, that's
All
okay.
right.
Go ahead, Rob.
Lynn?
Yeah, she volunteered me, you do. I'm good.
Rob?
One strategy would be to stick to numbers that are easier to subtract.
Okay.
So if I go by fives, that 15 minus 40
Okay, so
It'd be
15 minus
25, and
40.
I know I'm just one off, so
So you did
subtract
that.
easier numbers first,
Okay,
and I know I need to get one more.
so that would get you to
25.
25. And then you know you gotta take one more
Right, to get to 16.
to get to 16. So would you take that from here?
From the, add it to the 15 essentially.
Okay, see, this is the part I always struggle with, is hearing second grade voices and then trying to get them to do it. So, you knew you needed to take
I'd make that a 6, I would add 1 to that.
one to that, so we know, and then I can kind of show them like this, and then, okay, so Rob got to 16. Did everybody else get to 16, or do we have any other, okay, guys? Linda, do you want to share how you got to that?
I just did it in my head. I just know a
Right.
0, you
Yeah.
have to, 10, so 10
Okay.
minus 6, 10 minus 4 is 6. And then I know that I took one away, so it has to be a 3 minus 1, so that would be 2 minus 1, and then I re-added into my head. I put 16 underneath,
Perfect.
and then I could see that it was 40. I can
Okay.
just visualize it.
Great. And that's what, and we've been working on the regrouping strategy, so that sounds like what Linda did. She took the
I
10 away.
knew
Yep,
that
and
it was
turned this,
0.
yep. Could be 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 3 tens minus 2 tens is 1 10.
And then I re-added
Yep.
it in my head to make sure that it turned to 40.
Okay, 16 plus 1.
Went back up.
Good. Okay, so both
That's
Linda and Rob got to
old
the
school
same
math.
answer.
That's what I
That's
So
what
you
I
can
did.
see that there's
I
different.
did the same thing, yeah.
That's what I did.
I just lined it up.
But you,
Explained it more on my kids' way.
thank you. But anyway,
So the job as the teacher is to try to think through, or have the kids talk, and it does have to be mental. The kids have to do it mentally, they don't have anything with them, and then the teacher tries to record. So
cool.
that's you guys, you want to see
Here's what the second
graders
Yes,
did this
I
morning?
want to see that.
40 minus 24. So first, show me that think mode that we do. All right, if you know the answer, it's here. If you got different strategies, you can use your fingers there. So I'll give a little bit of time just to think that one through. 40 minus 24. Some different strategies out there. You just have to have one. Then why don't you quietly turn and talk to your buddy? Talk about how you do the answer. 40 minus 24. That's this way, ready to go? All right, quiet volunteers. It might be your buddy's idea, it might be your idea. Elijah, get us started.
I got 16, because I knew 40 take away 20, is 20, and then I have 20, and then I know that I have to take away 10, so I know that 10, take away 4 is 6.
Okay, so you got it, you took away the 10s, you got the 20s.
This is
and
real.
then you knew that you had 4 more to take away, and you knew that 10 minus 4 was 6. You guys catch that part? Yeah, 10 minus 4 is 6, so you know that, that's a little bit better. And so then you knew that 20 minus that 4 would be 16. Does that sound okay? Anything to add to Elijah's or a different strategy that you'd like to use? Gage, what would you like to add? Good job. So you knew that 4 plus 6 was 10, and that helped you with your ones, right? And then how many 10s do you have? Right. But when you're taking 40 minus 20, what'd you get? 20. And you still knew. So just, do you see how Gage was thinking just like Elijah? But Elijah thought, hey, I know that since I had to take 4 away, I would have 6 left. And Gage was added to that, he knew 4 plus 6 was 10. All right? A different idea. Chloe, what were you thinking?
40 minus 24 equals 16.
Okay? She regrouped, she said.
You can't take 4 away from 0, so have your
Yep.
minus 2 equals 1.
Is it a 10 or a 1? 110. Okay. Did Chloe get the same answer as Elijah and Gage? Yeah, we all got 16. What's another way that we can get to that same answer? Kylie?
I used the number line, so I put 40 and 24 on it. And I went to the front of the number 30, so that was 6 plus 6. And then to 30 plus 40 was 10. So I got 16.
All right, so when you added your 6 and 10, how much you counted up? You still got 16. All right, different ways to get to that same answer. Talk one more time with your buddy, but use their names now. Kind of talk about what did each of our
Do any of the rest of you want to share anything about what Number Talks has been at your level?
I think in first, so it builds on in each grade, but, they become so much more verbal and things can be done. All of them did everything, every kid there did that in their head rather than having to write down. And as an adult, I still have to write things down when I do math. So I think it's helping them become more independent and critical thinkers when they do these things. Something like that.
At the beginning of the year, we gave a screener, and on a lot of the problems, you'd ask them, like, well, how did you get the answer? How do you know? And they'd just be like, well, I just know. And now they're able to do that kind of explaining because of Number Talks, and it really helps that we do the pair share first, because like Tammy was saying, like sometimes we're nervous, we're like, is that right? And so that's a good time for them to kind of get comfortable and be like, okay, my partner had the same thing, maybe I should share. And then also it's another way, like if they do make a mistake, they're checking with their partner, and then they might want to share, hey, like this is how I made a mistake, but then I was able to figure out why. So that's helped a lot.
And I teach 6th grade, so by the time they get up to me, they have a lot of habits already created. And so what I've seen with the implementation of Number Talks is much more of a willingness to try different strategies that they see their fellow peers doing at the same time. So, oh, I didn't think of it that way, and I see that you got to the answer maybe a little bit quicker than I did. So maybe that I'll try your strategy in the future as opposed to the way that I have been doing it. So much more willingness to try a lot of different strategies.
And that's the key. We want the kids to be efficient. And I hope, we always have that conversation. Well, sometimes the kids are just raising their hand to share something out there that really is not,
They
but I
just
think
wanna
we're,
talk.
yeah. Because, and that's, you might look at this and think, well, geez, because the regrouping strategy is the easiest for me, and I'll still do it mentally, but I still want to go on the paper and check it.
Yes.
But I think kind of like technology, the kids are fearless, or becoming more, they're a lot more fearless on that than us. But we do want them to get to the answer effectively and efficiently.
I think it's great, you guys. I definitely would go with Chloe's idea, just because that's what's ingrained in me, but I remember being in panic mode in math class when I was younger, going, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do this, and the teacher would say, this is how you do it, this is how you do it. There was one way, this is how you do it, and if you don't get it, I don't know what to tell you, so this is awesome that they have all these different strategies to get to the same place. So, good job.
Yes.
Any other questions for her? And I do think the key is the development of that number sense. I mean, at the simplistic level of possible. They gotta understand numbers and how they work, and that will help them.
I think a prime example of that was when, during the regrouping, it's not 1, it's 10.
It's tens, right.
That, I missed that in my whole.
Well, we always started from the ones. You never started from the tens. So when you said 10 or the 1, you always started on 1. So you would subtract 6 from 10 to get 4, then you would do, so then you knew this was the ones and this was, and that's how I was taught, and that's how you do it. So when you started that, I'm like, oh no.
Well, and Linda, did you know this? Like, if you were adding, say 72 plus 36, you could do 100. You could add up your tens
Yes,
first,
you could.
and then add up your ones and do
Yeah.
108.
Yeah.
But we were never taught that.
No,
You
we
start
don't.
with ones, you start with ones, you start with ones.
And then you
Some kids like to
carry
do that.
because you've made 10 or 11
Yep.
or 12, and then you carry up. I know, but yeah, I never thought of to just do the tens. and then do the ones,
Mhm.
adding it that way. But there's a lot of different ways to get to the right answer, it just depends how you think, and that's what I like, because not everybody thinks the same. Not every child is the cookie cutter, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, so hey, if they can figure it out in their head too, that's great. Cool.
And I think that we've seen a lot more of those shy talkers
Good,
definitely voice
Good.
their opinion a lot more in class because they get this and they understand that my way is not the wrong way because I did get to the same answer.
and they can share with their peers first, and like Denise said, or Melanie said, you can talk and say, and Rachel too, talk about it first, then, quiet, and then say, be a little more confident. That's cool.
Thanks, guys.
Yes,
All right,
thank you
good
very
work.
much, yay.
Get to the game, everybody.
That's right, go Beavers.
I don't know, maybe not. We'll
We didn't
see.
get home till like 3 a.m.
That's what she said. I don't mind, see, I'm talking.
Okay, well, Grant was on the agenda, he contacted me a couple weeks ago to come update the board on the 1-year anniversary of the approval.
Oh,
with
okay.
Walker. So, unfortunately, he's not here.
They're out of state for some family stuff, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
I
that's
thought
what,
they died,
I think
which
that's
is
what she
probably,
exactly, no,
No.
they had some family
We'll just have
unfortunate situations down in Louisiana, right? Weren't they down there?
Oh, right.
Yeah,
So,
that's where their family's from.
and what Ms. Bonesock was saying, they just got back last night, so
Yeah.
I'll see if it works out for next month.
I was gonna say, reschedule it,
Yeah.
we would love to hear.
Yep,
All
the
right.
update somewhere that's at.
All right, we'll move on. Stacy, you have the floor.
So, first report is number 4, the taxation plan reports. Any questions or comments? on any of the reports? Like I mentioned before, the negative checking account balances that you see in general funds, because we had outstanding checks and I didn't transfer money till the beginning of this month, knowing there wouldn't be tax checks that would not be cashed at the beginning of the month because of the difference in the interest rates. You can see a considerable between ISID and community. So we're not really negative total on the books. I did pay the management fund or the retirement payments. That had prior approval, went out in January to the 62,154. So those were paid in January. And same thing with the negative money market account that you see in Fund 33, local option sales and service tax we saved. We had some outstanding checks there also that we held, so they didn't, just left the money in ICE checks, so transferred it over. Do I have anything else to point out? Any questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to number 5, which is the instructional support levy program. And it's in the general fund. Have the revenues at the top, to date, and then, or for January, and then the expenditures are on the bottom of the first page, what we have for January, and what's left is at the top of the second page. By the end of the year, that will be 0. We spend everything in ISP every year. Any questions or comments? Number 6 is the self-insurance fund through January. And we have the receipts for expenditures at the top, and then our fund breakdown and investment breakdown is listed at the bottom. And this continues to do well for us. Back on the taxation fund page, right there. Not standing as, insurance payable, right now we have $47,000 to go into the self-insurance fund for medical. We usually do that once or twice a year, either at the end of the year in June, or occasionally I'll do fund payment in the spring and then the balance. But, so that account actually has another $47,000 to be added to it at this time. Any questions or comments on self-insurance? Next is the Latchkey Program. Have the usage at the top, which stayed consistent from December to January. And then the expenditures are a little higher than the revenues, but as we've mentioned the last several months, she's been purchasing items to upgrade the program. As the balance has been growing, we've suggested that she starts spending some of the money on some new things for the kids, so she's been doing that. So if you look at the next sheet, number 8, you can see that she has spent some extra money on crafts and toy box supplies and stuff like that on the period when the report for Latchkey. Any questions on anything Latchkey, the finances or the vendor report? Number 9 is the nutrition fund. Have the usage at the top is the lunch program and then breakfast on the first sheet. For them up to date and then school year to date. And then the finances below. And this fund continues to grow, and we've talked about that also. We had to raise the price due to the state mandate, but so I will keep talking to Terry about making sure she buys anything that that program needs. Any questions or comments? Trade vendor report is next. Nutrition fund. And number 11, first page, is student activity fund. Joy has the music and the athletic summaries there on the far right-hand column for you. And all the negatives are the same that we've discussed the last couple months with the elementary vocal, robotics, and spring canteen. Second page is the FFA Enterprise Fund and our Flex Benefit Plan Fund that we keep in our local bank, and then the agency fund, which are funds that Joy accounts for, but we do not technically own. Any questions or comments on any of those funds? The next, item number 12 are the trade vendor reports for all those funds. And as usual, lengthy. When you see gambling sales tax, the state considers the raffles, 50/50 raffles we do with gambling. We do have a gambling license for that. And we do have to pay sales tax on the proceeds of anything that is considered a chance to win, so. Any questions or comments on any of the vendors? 13 is co-curricular driving. So we've got the athletics at the top, some classroom trips, and then all the other are the 3-hour stop class training that's required every year for our drivers. And the driver summary for the pay period, January, February at the bottom. Next, and then number 14 is the extra payroll. Anything that is on a contract or not previously approved by the board that's submitted to me for payment goes on the sheet. And pretty much everything there is status quo, nothing unusual. Any questions or comments on the extra payroll? Number 15 are the taxation fund bills. The first 10.5 pages are general fund. So with our added capability of the teachers being able to spend $300 for the classrooms, thanks to the Townsends, we have a lot of extra bills this month. And I do believe everyone took advantage of that. So it's a nice finalize some of the year purchase for them for the classrooms. Management fund, we have to pay the insurance on the new Ford Fusion. And then there are some various bills out of, the 1 cent sales tax for the save out of Fund 33. And then Fund 34 is, where we have put the money to build the multi-purpose room and the observatory. So we are processing the check for the delivery of the multi-purpose building, but not the construction of, because that's slow paced due to our weather recently. So any questions on any of the taxation fund bills presented for payment? The general fund bills are higher than normal because we have a lot of first semester open enrollment bills included this time. On top of the addition of all the tons of money we were able to spend.
It's kept the office busy.
So,
Oh, packages coming
Like
in.
summer
UPS
vacations.
coming in.
Yeah.
Cursing because of the weather.
move to approve the bills.
Second?
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you, Stacy. We'll go to the administrative reports and Mrs. Austin. Please.
I think the three things I want to share off my report, I'll start with the fast screening. It has been difficult to get the screening completed. We finished Monday, so the results that I also included are hot off the press. I don't know how much difference in the scores it has made with all the absences, and trying to get them finished was a task. But I'm very happy with all of our scores. Second grade, if you look at the fall percent, that's the one that we have been doing full class interventions with, and really pulled out the stops, and they've made great progress. So that's very encouraging to see that our efforts have made a big jump for them from fall to winter. Now, whether they can do that from winter to spring, we'll see. Third grade, we'll be digging into their scores and seeing what we can do to also help them. When you have that many kids, our goal is 80%, that's why those are green. It tends to point toward full class intervention instead of just a few kids. It's difficult sometimes when you look at these scores for us, because this is just us. And at the bottom is our last winter to this winter. And it's interesting always for us to look on the diagonal and see how those kids progress or don't as a grade level or as a cohort group. But I always like looking at the sheet when they compare us to the state and the ABA better, because then we always, seem to be with our work well ahead of the bunch. But it's good to drill down, and you can see that middle, second grade, third grade is where we need to put a lot of our efforts. And I always appreciate Dr. Place's role as the instructional coach, because she'll go in there and meet with those teachers and pull those kids and figure out exactly what it is to try to improve and make those data-driven decisions. Any questions on that screening? Plain talk, I also included a summary. When we send teachers out like that, we always have them come back and do something. Well, with our PD days in the weather, what we decided was easiest to do this time is I told her to come up with our 5 biggest hits and to share one face-to-face with somebody. So we've shared these with the staff, and the biggest bang for our buck, of course, is those people who go. And it truly is. We really appreciate that learning opportunity, because the amount of knowledge that they can gain and what they feel and the professionalism, I think, about education that they can bring back with those kids, and just that pride it's a wonderful opportunity. So we really appreciate being able to do that. And we use our K-3 Eli money. That's why we only take K through third grade teachers. Next year, we're looking at doing something with the Colorado State Conference. Again, Dr. Place is very connected with the literacy world, and that seems to be the one after this one that is maybe for a longer grade level, more appropriate, but we just have to figure out a funding source for our older teachers to be able to go there. but that's what we'll be looking at in the future. And then the third thing, the top two on my list of additional information, things that are important, we also have moved our second trimester to Wednesday the 27th. We've moved it back with the snow days, and so our report cards will move that back as well. They'll go home Monday, March 4th, so that they are in hand for parent-teacher conferences on the 6th and the 7th. So that has been a change with our snow days. Other than that, everything's pretty self-explanatory. If you have any questions? No.
No, great, thank you, Mrs. Austin. Mr. Snavely?
Yeah, athletic side of things, it's been a little bit interesting, makeups and trying to reschedule, and we did get all the varsity basketball games in. We had to scrap a couple of JV level and one wrestling meet. So we're sitting pretty good there. Our girls will play tonight at 7 o'clock at home here against Highland. Our boys will play at 6:30 tonight at Wapello versus, I'm drawing a blank. L&M, thank you. And so that game will be starting here in a little bit. Other than that, there's not a lot of wrestlers left today after school. They had a brief assembly for them and for the basketball teams tonight. So really, after tonight, our home season will be done. So the boys win against L&M, they'll play tomorrow night, and if the girls win, they'll play Friday night in Muscatine. The boys will be in Comanche. Against Comanche, yeah. So it's gonna be a quick turnaround for them, but that's just the way it plays out. And the wrestlers, like I said, are gone. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot. Junior high has been a little bit interesting with the boys. They've only had 2 games, and we have games on every Wednesday night right now, but it won't be done before 6:30, so it's not really a conflict. But we might lose a couple games yet if we have anything else happen. So anyway, to date, we're hoping we can extend that season by a week and get them all in. The problem is some of the schools don't want to extend their season, so that makes it hard for us. But that's our goal right now, is to get them all in. So that's really it for the athletic side. As far as my board report for the junior, senior high, basically, I want to highlight a couple of things. I was at MCC all afternoon today doing interviews for the career counselor position. We had 4 candidates that we interviewed, so we sent them on to the next level with their HR department. So hopefully in the next couple weeks, that'll be flushed out, and we'll have a candidate for that. And then the only other thing I want to talk about is the junior high variety show. I had listed as the date of Friday, February 22nd. We are going to kick off a newly formed show choir that night at the high school level. It's kind of baby steps. You can't just go all in, I guess, to start this, but they are rehearsing one song, which is going to be Footloose, and they're going to play that out at the junior high variety show, and then hopefully build upon that next year. They are going to go to Davenport. I think it's Assumption for a big show choir showcase to kind of, Miss Erickson's going to let them know kind of what it all looks like, and hopefully through that visit we'll be able to kind of see a modeling of what a good show choir looks like, and there'll be a lot of big schools there that'll be doing that. So it's on the ground level right now, but we hope to expand that as we go into this a little deeper. So other than that, it's kind of the end of the winter season, and fine arts season will be starting before too long, and things like that. So questions for me based on my board reports? All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Moving along.
Consent
that's good.
agenda number 1.
You can see the 4 people that are resigning, that are taking advantage of the early retirement incentive offered by the district there. The two job descriptions are the activities director and the assistant activities director / detention room associate. If at some point the person in letter B retires and we change around, an assistant activities director with another position or whatnot, we'll rewrite it at that point. But it reflects current practice on what their roles and responsibilities are with that. So that's it under consent agenda number 1.
Motion to approve consent agenda number 1.
Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, consent agenda number 2, policy. Anything?
I do not see anything this month, which is unusual. But questions as any of the board members have. If there's anything that they have questions about, certainly entertain questions. Most of those are state policy.
Move to approve consent agenda 2.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Consent agenda number 3.
You bet. 1 through 4 is just our district employee retirement program for Judy Ratchin, Cindy Axel, Daryl Adams, and Brian Reed. Number 5 is our SIAC committee members, and the proposed meeting date is Wednesday, March 27th at 6 p.m. And then number 6 is our second reading of 502.9, smoking, drinking, and drugs, and the changes we made last month that we talked about. So it's the second reading of that policy.
Motion to approve, excuse me, consent agenda number 3.
Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, individual action items.
Yep, we got 4 this month. Number 1 is the superintendent sharing agreement with Durant for the 2019-2020 school year. When the board officers met from each district, it was recommended to A, continue it, but B, also do it 1 year at a time, to look at it each year the way we had it set up this year.
Move to approve the superintendent sharing agreement.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, number 2 are the artificial turf bids. This is inside our new multi-purpose building. A considerable difference, but if you remember, Bush was about half price as well to the second bid, and they did the playground. They just have, I don't know, corner on the market. I don't know what their,
Okay.
I don't know, secret is, but I clearly recommend Bush at $45,850 versus Country Landscapes.
Motion to approve Bush artificial turf bid.
Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Number 3 is the MGA fee structure. If you look at the fine print there, the total cost of putting together everything is around almost $28,000. And you can see what their fee structure would be percentage-wise on the scope of the project, you know, if we move forward with it. The higher the cost of the project, the lower the percentage is. That's on the last page. They came to interview staff members, was that last week?
Yeah.
And I thought it went really well. Did I send the notes to the board?
Yeah.
I thought I did.
Yes.
So you can see the notes, and they're coming back on Monday, the 25th. Is that right?
Yeah.
And they're going to start looking at some schematics with myself, Mr. Snavely, and Joe Raggets based upon those conversations. And that's at 2 o'clock. And if you are free, you want to sit on that, more than welcome. So I've been really happy with their work so far. Point Builders, Chris Wheeler came down that day with them as well. So got some really good ideas. So for number 3 and number 4, we would just be approving the fee structures as presented. They need to be approved individually.
Move to approve the MGA fee structure.
Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Same with number 4.
Move to approve the Point Builders fee structure.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
And we need signatures. Joy, can you make copies of, you got
I'm
those?
done.
Awesome,
Okay.
so don't leave without signing those, please. And number 5, we've got 2 bus bids for a LP bus. You can see the breakdown there, they're very close. The difference is a little bit with the trade-in values. My recommendation is to stick with school bus sales. That is the same company that our other 4 buses are with. Ryan Lilienthal visited with him about this today. He feels really comfortable working with school bus sales and knowing their product, and again, it just keeps it consistent with the same line of buses, with it being that close.
Is the Thomas one propane also?
Yes,
It doesn't state it.
it doesn't
but
state it,
says-
but it is.
But it is, okay,
Yes.
okay.
So, Dwight Husiel is here tonight,
Oh,
and I think I mentioned to the board, when Linda and I were at the school board convention, that the number of buses that have been purchased since this program started has just gone through the roof, and we were the first school district to do it in the state. So,
Is that one that's being traded in then, gas or diesel then?
it's a diesel.
Diesel.
Yeah.
What do you got left in diesel?
Well,
I thought we only had a.
if I'm not mistaken, we should have 5 LP buses,
Yeah.
and then we would have, I think we had our fleet up to 8,
We got a few left.
so we still got a couple of more.
okay.
Yeah, I thought we were at 8, but we can look for that specifically. But that'll give us 5 LP buses.
Cool.
Yeah.
Move to approve the bid from school bus sales.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried, motion carries. All right, informational discussion items.
Nothing under the hirings this month. Maintenance-wise, we had a maintenance committee meeting here about a week and a half ago. And unfortunately, our list of things to do this summer is somewhat limited at this point because
Yes.
of Stacy. No,
Because of Stacy.
yes, Scrooge.
Stacy,
Scrooge.
hater, what's going on?
Well,
It'd be the $650,000 that you spent this year.
Oh, okay.
we had a good year in 2018, 19. But the one variable we have to wait and see is what happens with this building, potential building project.
Okay,
Because with the 1 cent sales tax, we would tie up some of our money
yes,
with that.
yes,
If
yes.
we don't move forward with it, we'd have more money to spend.
True.
So we're looking at approximately $200,000 for projects for the next fiscal year, assuming it may go forward. And if it doesn't, we'd have closer to 650, give or take. I mean, we got to see what our revenues are, what our enrollment does, all those other different things. So, some of the things we're looking is continue some of our flooring projects with the epoxy. What else, Gary? We had a very short list.
Yeah, wasn't much to really
Well,
do.
we're going to explore air quality control, and I can say that, like heating, cooling, but more the cooling side,
Yeah.
with our first floor up here on the junior, senior high end. We did get a rough idea from Vic. It'd be 1.5 million to AC the whole thing, or do the facility down here. You'd have to replace all kinds of piping too. It's not just the units, it's an overhaul. And for the amount of time we would use that, 1.5 million just, it's not gonna work. So we're looking at whether it's individual units like we talked about, you know, that would go outside, or maybe roofing units that might be split to go into 4 classrooms.
Oh, okay.
But we also looked at, and Joe's exploring this, just like we've done the floors, maybe we can do sections at a time.
Yes.
Gosh, we could do 4
Yes.
rooms a year, in 3 years, we'd have the whole, you know, top 4 close to being done. So we just want to start attacking that piecemeal
Okay.
with that as well. So, but really, we just talked about some general maintenance done by the high school office. Some of the paint, and if you look at the brickwork or block work by the bathrooms down there. So, as it gets closer, we'll see where we're at financially, but also I'll keep you posted on that. Questions on that? Full board meeting tomorrow night Legislatively, they're debating right now the SSA, which is the allowable growth. They're looking at about 2.06%. So we'll see what happens with that. The 1 cent sales tax is also being debated, so hopefully that is extended. Nothing on the goodwill, miscellaneous. I did want to mention, and I sent Derek the email too, just about the last day of school.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of the drop dead date is that June 7th date we're looking at. My email was outdated as of today, because today we had to eat an additional hour, not 2, but 1, because we already had one
That's
filled in. But the way I see it, we've got 4 days at this point. The 2 days, Thursday, Friday, and then the 2 days we have right now on our hours that we are over. So we'll know a lot more, I would imagine, at our March board meeting on where we're at and what we may need to do. Keep us on that June 7th target date. And again, that last day of school is right now at 11 a.m. Dismissal would go full day if we need to on that day. And so, like I said, we've got, the good news is we have options. The bad news is it's February 13th.
And winter's not over yet. And
Exactly.
they're predicting stuff.
We haven't had the girls' state basketball tournament. That's usually good for a day or two. That's how it used to be anyway. So, interest-based bargaining will be on February 27th at 5. Work session will follow that at 5:30. Our next regular board meeting is March 13th at 5:30 p.m. We do need to be thinking about our joint city council meeting, what we want to do.
Okay.
This year's a little bit unusual, given the fact that normally we have our meetings on Mondays, and it coincides with the council meeting on Mondays.
Oh, that's right.
So, well, either way, it's an hour meeting, and it's down there, so, but it may, have to be on a different night. So, I see Grant just got here. Grant, you want to give us a quick update? I know people are running with the ball game here, so.
Yeah, I canceled, I had originally canceled because I didn't think I'd be back in town in time. But we're coming up on, I believe, 1 year since approval. It's come a very long way since that first night here when we all had the hesitation and how things exactly would be executed. We ended up, as many of you know, far over the mark on our initial funding requests. That has been successfully rolled into automation, whereas we'd initially considered a one-off build. Now we've got that Pier Tech Telestation 5, it's all crated up and will soon be here.
It came today.
It came today. All right, excellent. I have been out of state with family emergency. So we have that. We are going to seek to install that whether, as we are all waiting.
Yeah.
The build with that is going to be fairly concise. It's not going to be a drawn-out build. The most challenging aspect of that is that we are going into a lot more automation, and that's going to have a lot more setup involved in that. No greater cost to the project. It's just more bells and whistles to get set straight. And but then the ultimate product is that once everything that we have set in place and we have ordered, and as many of you have seen, walking down, we have our instrumentation module set out on a display in the elementary school. These things are going to be able to come together in a way that we are going to be able to stream all of our work anywhere in the world. We're going to be able to work together with other school districts. We'll be able to give temporary access rights to other groups. We'll be able to work side by side with other groups. We'll be able to come together. If there's one group that we want to work with, and they're all the way across the country, we can actually work together and stream together exactly what we're doing. So all of our capabilities, we're going to have full remote control as well as full autonomy. And what autonomy will actually bring to the school is that once these students progress through the grades and they get into the older grades, once they get into the older grades, they'll actually be able to dictate their own research desires. If they want to know more about a particular topic, more about a particular subject, we're going to be using an industry standard software, and that software package will allow the student to come to me and say, hey, or to any of the other individuals who are gonna be in operational roles with the observatory, and we want this, we can actually tell the computer, hey, this is what we would like to have, and the computer will automatically prioritize and organize and run and operate the entire observatory without any human interaction. So we have the ability to control it ourselves, we have the ability to get hands-on everything we had initially set forward as goals. Then we have autonomy and a huge bunch of other things. We have some exciting things on the horizon. We are now, the Wilton Observatory is now supporting member of AAVSO, the American Association of Variable Star Observers. Those will be our initial partnerships where the more advanced students will be working in line with emergent needs. So they'll have researchers that are going to present their emergent needs. We get a notice, and then we can take our telescope and get it on target and collect data, and the students learn. The students get to participate with researchers that are actively pursuing targets that are in the night sky. And ultimately, all things said, as far as writing, we have ops procedures we need to write, in-service and teacher instruction that needs to happen. The goal is to have those completed throughout the summer. And we do have, I feel, a very reasonable target of full operability by the 1920 school year. And throughout, we will have meetings. We've had the advisory board now, and the advisory board will act to guide all of our capabilities in line with what the state mandated educational requirements are, and to see how we can get these abilities that we now have, which were far above what we had originally discussed a year ago. Now, how do we make the most of it? So the board is going to act in that fashion. So we're doing some really cool stuff, and it's really fun, it's really exciting, and we just continue to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So it's all good. Any questions specifically?
The room is coming together too. I gotta throw a bone to Joe Raggett downstairs. It's really, Gary saw on our tour, and it's really making good use of that room that really was just.
I'm right, I love it. I absolutely love it. Like I said, when I went into the closet that one day to put some stuff in, and I'm like, what are all these? Oh, did you see the TVs? Yeah, this is awesome. This is so cool. So everything is really coming together, and the looks on the faces of the kids, they are just like, oh man. I'm walking by and I'm just peeking out the window watching them, and they're really, really excited. So we're more fun.
Yeah, I just don't think it could have worked out any better.
No.
Everything just came together. It was awesome. So thank you all for believing in a really far out idea that's way outside the box, and I look forward to working with you all for many, many years to come. So
Well, let's hope at our August board meeting we can go out and see a tour.
yeah, let's rock it. I definitely want to do that.
Love to
I
see
definitely, I want to show you everything. This is awesome. So,
All right.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have to have a late board meeting that night, we're gonna see anything in the sky.
That's true.
August, that's
We
right.
have daytime operability along with radio.
Oh, okay.
Yay! Solve the problem, Stacy. Good deal. All right. All right, with that, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good
Thank
work,
you,
Team Beaver.
everyone. Yay!